My name is Michael Burke, and I want to welcome you to another edition of our Trading Futures Options series, featuring our FuturesPlus platform powered by Trading Technologies. FuturesPlus is TradeStation's powerful futures options and futures spreads trading platform. It's packed with a comprehensive set of analysis and trading and account management tools to really help you take your futures options trading to that next level. And we're going to show you some of those tools in this presentation. This series is hosted by Bernie Schwartz. He's the Director of Platform Services and is also the Options Product Manager for Trading Technologies. And today's topic is managing your accounts, orders, and positions in the FuturesPlus platform. And we'll get started with Bernie in just a second. Keep in mind that we are recording this session, and you can view previous sessions on our YouTube channel. Keep in mind that the following presentation is for educational purposes only. All of the symbols and trading ideas discussed by the instructor are for demonstration purposes and are not recommendations. Active trading is not suitable for everyone. Futures and options on futures, doubly so. Please take a look at the additional disclosure information that is available on the TradeStation website. If you're new to TradeStation and looking to get up to speed on the different platforms, TradeStation Securities is hosting a daily training channel called Getting Started with TradeStation on youcantrade.com. Every day there's something new to learn. You can ask questions. There's lots of videos to watch. Everything you need to know to get up and running with TradeStation, and it's free to join. And we'll push that link into the chat. And once you're ready to take your trading to that next level, TradeStation also offers a version of our in-person live masterclass online. So this is our new online masterclass. You can get all the same great education, advanced training, all of the special resources, all from the comfort of your home or office. And you can check it out for free for 14 days. It's $59 a month after that 14-day trial. So as I said earlier, our presenter today is Bernie Schwartz. He is the Director of Platform Services at TradeStation Technology, a longtime options trader. He's an expert in everything FuturesPlus, and it's always great to have him here with us. So Bernie, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thanks very much, Mike. Appreciate the introduction. I am going to share my screen, and you will all see a very basic workspace, and we'll get started. You should all be able to see my my workspace now with one market grid in it. Thanks everyone for joining. What we're going to talk about today, as the title suggests, is management of accounts, orders, positions. So I'm not going to go into great detail about option strategy or anything. In fact, for this demonstration, I'm going to use futures contracts only to try and keep things simple. And I'll do an introduction to a handful of widgets, how they're used, and most importantly, of course, how you can track your orders and your performance for your own trading. So I've got up here just one view into the market. I've got a market grid up here of ES futures. Stocks down today. I've got a tab here for crude oil, and of course you've got our goofy negative May price, which we could talk about at some point. And gold as well, just for a look into the market. Let me go over a couple of specific widgets. So in our widgets menu, every tool that actually let me minimize this market grid so you can see a little better. Every tool that you're going to see in the widgets that you're going to use is found in the widgets menu. Now there are a handful of submenus down there at the bottom. What I've done is for the widgets that I care about the most, I have made them a favorite, and obviously one click, very easy to do that. So if I wanted to add time and sales as a favorite widget, add a star, and of course there it is right here in our favorites. So a couple different ways to organize your menu. Today, since we're talking about order management, I'm going to go through the handful of widgets here in the middle. So I'm going to start with order book. Order book, exactly what it sounds. Order book is going to allow you to view all your current orders, and the status of them. Of course, I have none working right now. I will be entering orders, and we'll see how they're reflected here in the order book. And you do have the ability to modify orders from the order book as well. It is best used for tracking your active working orders. There are options to look at your filled orders and all orders. The best use of this is to look at all your open or working orders. And again, these will be blank until I enter an order, and then you'll kind of see how this all shakes out. Next widget I'm going to open is called Fills. Fills, again, just like it sounds, these are all of our filled orders. So of course you can see the same view if you look at your filled orders in the order book. The advantage of fills is that there are a handful of ways to break down your fills so you can see them by date. You can apply filters so you can see everything in between certain price range, for example. All of that, so we'll see how that comes into play when we fill an order. And I'm going to open our positions tab. Positions, some people like to think of it as their P&L widget. Positions will keep track of all your open positions. Will not include working orders, of course. It'll just include filled orders. But this is where you'll track your overall positions and just as importantly, your P&L. Finally, you'll see in our favorites menu, we've got a widget called Orders and Fills. Sometimes refers to as OFW, Orders and Fills window. Orders and Fills basically takes all three of these that I just opened up, order book, positions, and fills, and squishes them into one widget. The advantage here is that you can isolate certain orders and view them all sort of stacked on top of each other or fills, and you can associate an order to a fill, a P&L to a fill, etc. For those starting out on the FuturesPlus platform, I would recommend using the individual widgets to get a good idea of how they each work. Orders and fills is absolutely available to you. I'm not going to go too much into detail on that one today. I'm going to stick to the individual widgets. But for those of you who have found comfort with the platform, you might find the Orders and Fills widget both space saving and easy to use. I'll minimize that. I'll come back to it in a minute, but I'm basically going to leave that one out. Finally, we've got, I want to talk about accounts. So for most viewing this presentation, you will likely only have one available account to you to trade with TradeStation. However, plenty of people do maintain multiple accounts, either to segregate funds or to segregate strategies. So I'm going to open an order entry widget right now. I'll talk about accounts and what they mean, and then we'll see how how all these widgets are used in order entry and management. So let's go with the gold contract, since it's not moving around too much. I don't want to play with negative prices like on the crude future. So if you see one click on the bidder, the offer opens up my order entry widget. This is our market data MDT, market data trader. This is probably our most popular tool being used to enter orders. So we've got a display of the market here. Oops, and I just put that out of range. Let me see here. Let's do this. So I'm in June, and I'm going to open an MD trader, and let's get rid of that floating one. Okay. All right, so I've got my June gold contract up here, trading around $1,695. I am going to enter one order that's not going to get filled, or most likely it won't, because I'm going to enter it away from the market so we can see how that works. So you'll see up here in the top left, this is our account dropdown. This user, my user today, has two accounts. When placing an order, you can designate the account into which it goes. They're listed alphabetically, so this 210 account is listed first, so we're going to start there. I'm going to go ahead and place a 5-lot bid on the gold June futures, and I'll place it down here away from the market so we can see it working and hopefully not get filled. I'll place a 94 bid on a 5-lot. Confirmation, yes, confirm, and there's our 5-lot working. So we now have a working order and nothing filled. So this print here is a bit small, but you'll see in our ladder, B0, W5, we have bought 0, we are working 5. That's what that means. All right, now into our order entry widgets. Let's take a look at our order book. We've got the same detail in the order book. So I've got at the CME, I'm working to buy 5 June gold contracts, price $16.94. My account is listed here. I've got working quantity, none have been filled yet. But if I were to be filled on 1, we would see 1 here and 4 working, for example. Our time in force, it's a day order, it's not a GTC, and it's a limit order. So this is all coincides with what we've got here, and the status is working. Now I have different accounts, so I'll go over this very briefly. If I switch accounts here in my order entry widget, I'm going to switch to this SIM account. We see now that that order does not appear in our ladder. That's because that order is not working in my SIM account. I can place another order in that account. I'll place it a couple ticks lower so we can see the effect of both. And I'll go ahead and be a 93 half bid on a 5 lot in account number 2. My order book is showing both of those orders working. And we see that we've got we've got 1 for each account. What's nice here is on the order book, you have the ability to filter by account. So if I only want to see my account A orders, of course, I've just got that 1. If I only want to see my account B orders, fine, I've got that. But that's annoying to keep jumping back and forth. What you can do is add a tab here, and this is what I would recommend if you have more than 1 account active, either using tabs or by cloning the widget itself. You can create the same view and apply different filters. So perhaps I want to see all my working orders for my SIM account in this order book, and I want to see all my working orders for my account A, my 210 account in this order book. So you can differentiate like that. For now, I'm going to display all accounts, so I'll clear that filter. We see both of those orders working. And I'm going to cancel the one in my SIM account to keep things a little simpler until I get a fill. We'll just work on 1 account only. So a single click canceled that order. We see that it is now canceled in our order book. If I go back and look at my 210 account, I see my 94 bid still working. Great, just where we left it. So there are a number of ways to manipulate your order from the order entry widget. You can do the same from the order book, and lots of traders choose to do this. So if I select that order, we see I'm working to buy 5 16.94. I can tick that down. Maybe I want to pay 93.80 on these now. I can click that down. When I click the change button, we're going to see the order amend in our order entry widget. So I'll change that, and we see that our order is now working 93.80. The same information is reflected here. I'm working by 5 93.80. Great. So we have no fills and no position yet, just as we expected. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take a fill on this order. So let's see how high futures have run since we started this presentation. I should have bought when I first opened the widget because now we're a couple bucks higher. So I've got my 5 lot here. I'm going to go ahead and pay 97.5 on this 5 lot. This is in simulation. So rather than doing it from the order, from the ladder here, from the order entry widget, I'm going to change the price on my order book like I talked about a minute ago. So I'm going to now bid 97.5 on this 5 lot, and it looks like I'm going to get them. All right, great. So when I change that order to 97.5, oh, great, I've got an alert in there. That's going to be another part of my presentation. When I changed my order to 95.5, I got filled. We see no working orders in our order book. In our fills, we see I got filled on a 5 lot. So let's take a look at the fills widget here. I got filled on 5. There's a number of ways to display this. I prefer the detail mode because it just gives me line by line what happened. I did buy 5, but we see that I bought a 3 lot and a 2 lot in that order. I paid $97.40 on 3, so I got a better price on 3 of them and paid $97.5 on the balance. So with my detail view and fills, I can see everything that happened. Summary view will just give me the total quantity. I bought 5 total. If I were to buy 5 more, it would just be tallied here. We can see by order. So again, this doesn't break it out into the 3 lot and 2 lot. We just see that I bought 5 total. And there are a handful of other settings you can use. Most people that I see using the platform use the detail mode when looking at fills. So all that is really is a record of our fills. The far more interesting widget, of course, is positions up here on the top. So we see in my account 210, I am now long. I came into the day, SOD is start of day, so I came in with no position. I'm now long 5. I bought 5. So my net position is long 5. And the market's moved against me a little bit, so I'm down 170 bucks on those contracts. If I go back and do something similar in my sim account, show you what that looks like. I'm going to go ahead and I'll buy a different quantity here. I'll buy a 3 lot so we can see how this all works, and I'll pay up a little bit. My 3 lot. All right. So I've now bought 5 gold contracts in my 210 account. I've bought 3 gold contracts in my sim account. We see how they're separated here. So all of these account differences, you can again filter. You can do the same in fills. So if I only want to see fills for my sim account, I can do that and apply that filter. Again, I can clone this and have as many fills widgets as I want. So maybe one per account if I want. And the same is true in our positions widget. So we see that I've got both of my accounts represented here. Maybe I only want to see, again, my fills for my sim account. Great, we can display that. And the column is highlighted yellow to indicate that a filter is active. The other convenient feature in the positions widget is that you can collapse these accounts. So if I want to have everything available to me, but I only really want to be looking at my 210 account right now, that's great. I can just collapse this sim account. I can see what my P&L is, but it doesn't take up all that real estate. And I can focus on my 210 account. Excuse me. All right, so I'm long 5 in one account, I'm long 3 in another. What I set up ahead of time, I got ahead of myself a little bit, was an alert for that trade. And this is going to be incredibly helpful for a lot of people who are trading using FuturesPlus. We have a widget called the Alert Manager and Alert Viewer. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull up the Alert Manager. I'm going to show how to set up a very basic alert. And this always goes over pretty well. I am going to remove these ones that I set up earlier. We're going to start from scratch. So again, in my widgets menu, this is under miscellaneous, which I never really like as a category, but we didn't have a good category to put alert viewer in. Why don't I just make these 2 a favorite so we don't have to worry about that miscellaneous category anymore. So alert manager and alert viewer are now my favorites. And here they are in my main widget menu. Alert manager is where I'm going to configure all my alerts. What I want to do here is I want a notification anytime I make a trade, anytime I get a fill. This is the most basic kind of alert. So I'm going to create a new alert. Now, there's a whole lot of information in this modal. Don't get too intimidated. I'll walk through it, and then I'll point you to some resources for some additional help when creating these kinds of alerts. Let's go ahead and give it a name. I'm going to call this alert. Oops, my typing skills are lousy. Futures plus fill. And the description is free form. You can call it whatever you want. The FuturesPlus fill is the short name. The description can go on and on. But this is an alert anytime I get any fill in my FuturesPlus account. Whatever. Not necessary. Just an extra little nicety for you guys to monitor in case you create whole bunches of alerts. All right, so we've named it. I want these notifications sent to my desktop, and I also want them sent to my mobile app. So you can do one or both. Most people really like the mobile alerting. It will get sent as a push notification. We've got a lot of requests about, can you send email alerts as well? The answer to that is we haven't added that because there are concerns about security and PII, personal identifying information. If you think about when you get a notice from your bank, it'll often say something like, "You have a new message. Please log in to see it." It won't tell you the actual message, like your balance is low. Same thing here. Same restrictions legally. So you will see on your mobile app, when you get a push notification for an alert, it will simply say you have an alert has been triggered. It may not tell you the full information, and that is intentional. I'm going to give this alert a color because why not? Let's choose one that's going to show up nice and bright on our workspace here. I'll give it this pretty pink color, and I'm going to play a sound when it goes off as well. let's use the applause sound because I like that one. And we can test and see what that sounds like. Too much. Let's do something shorter. How about the cannon? All right. Every time I get a fill now, that sound's going to go off. All right. Let's set up the alert now. Alert me when all of the conditions are met or when any are met. So you can do one or all. Since this is going to be very simple, I'm going to use all the conditions and I'm going to add a condition. So this is going to be an order condition. Choose a field. Fill quantity. I'm going to set greater than or equal to 1. Just about the most basic alert we can create. This says show me an alert anytime I get filled on one lot or more. Great, save that. And so we've gotten our alert manager, we've got our new alert, FuturesPlus fill. We've got that long description that's probably too wordy. And the status is running. So we say this is active. I can pause it if I choose to turn off alerts temporarily, but we'll leave it active. Play is running. So this alert is now active. And so we're going to take a look at what happens when I actually get a fill. I also mentioned alert viewer. Actually, I don't need to open that right now. So alert manager is done. We can close this. I'll minimize it for now. It's not really necessary, but here we are. Let's take a look at our gold position. So I'm up a couple $100. Let's go ahead and take that off, and we get a nice test of our alert, and we get a nice test of our position fills P&L. So I'm going to operate again in my 210 account. I paid, what did I pay? I paid $97.44 average on that 5 lot. Let's go ahead and sell those out. So I'm going to sell 5. I'll just go to the market on these and take my profit, and we're going to see what happens. So I'll click on this 98.30 bid. Yes, confirm sell. All right, our alert worked. The reason you heard 2 cannons is because I offered 5, I got filled on 4, and then 1. So you saw that little alert pop up here in the workspace, fill quantity greater than 1. I also got one on my cell phone, which you cannot see right now, but you will when you set this up for yourself. And if that was a little too quick, keep in mind that alert viewer stores those alerts indefinitely. So I just have to make sure I set the right account for this. Hang on 1 second. Show historical alerts. So if I show historical alerts, they will be retained in there forever. And these are the old ones that were set up before I started this demonstration. Of course, they're all chronological, most recent at the beginning. There's our pink alert that we set up, fill quantity greater than 1. I bought 4, and then I bought 1. So the alert is there for your records if you need it. Otherwise, it'll just be displayed there in the corner every time. All right, so in my 210 account, let's take a look at our fills. Oops, 210. All right, so we've got a detailed view of all our fills in our 210 account. I bought 5 gold futures. I sold 5 gold futures. I'm flat. We can see the entire history of the fills. In our order book, of course, I've got nothing. I've got nothing working. We can, of course, take a look at our filled orders in the order book. And we see there all the orders for both accounts. Or you can working filled or all. We'll just leave that working for simplicity. And we've got our positions widget, which now we're very happy because I'm up $430. I really should get back into trading, I suppose. So I can see now in my positions widget, I bought 5 on the day, I've sold 5 on the day, I've made $430. I've got my average buy, I've got my average sell. I've got an alert set up to let me know anytime I do get a fill. And I'm tracking my entire position. I am now flat, my net position is flat. I get to go home with $400 in my pocket. Great, wonderful. But I'm curious now how my performance has been. Now, this is easy. I had essentially one order, opened and closed. I know what my performance is like. But I am going to show you a widget called Trader Analytics. Trader Analytics, and I won't read through every line in this, every line that's displayed here, but you get an idea as you start reading through here what this is keeping track of. Trader Analytics will analyze your past performance based on your criteria. So there's plenty to set up here. Keep in mind when you don't have this every time. When you save, all these settings are saved. But if I want to analyze my performance, today is April 21st. So April 21st, let's say between 12 o'clock. This is, by the way, this is military time and it is local to your machine. It is not UTC time. So for me in Chicago, it's 2:25 right now. So if I set my start time to noon and my end time to now, and hitting this little clear end time will simply, if I hover over, that's going to give me my tooltip. We'll set the end time to now. And I want to look at my account 210. That's what I want to analyze here. And when I look at instruments, I only have one in that account, but you'll see all these past trades that I've done, options, etc., some silver, some crude in there. So you can select all and see everything that you've done in that time period. For now, I'm just going to select that that GC contract that I traded, and unfortunately, I'm going to have a hard time finding it. There it is, June 20. Okay, and when I click calculate, we're going to see a whole bunch of information displayed here. So this will give you an idea of how long you held your positions, where your winners were, where your losers were, what your behavior is. So I'd encourage anyone to play around with that Trader Analytics widget, get familiar with looking back at your historical performance, kind of understand a little bit about how your trading goes throughout the day. And finally, I did. Oh, you know what? I said that I would look at the orders and fills widget, and then I lied, and I didn't go back to it. Let's take a quick look at the orders and fills widget before I wrap up. So I mentioned that the orders and fills widget will give you a look into all three of the widgets that I have brought up here, sort of in one view. Now, the advantage of orders and fills, again, is that you can associate your orders and your positions. So if I see, for example, if I want to look, for example, only at that sell order, I sold that 5 to close my position, I can click that eyeball. And now everything in the orders and fills widget is going to show me everything for that one order. So I've got, it didn't seem to do the trick. These are buys. Hang on one second. There we go. So it's going to show me everything for that one order. So we see now my positions at the bottom show short 5. Well, we know we're not short 5. We're only looking at that one fill. And this is why I kind of encourage users to start out with the individual widgets and not get too wrapped up in orders and fills until you're a little more familiar. If I were a new user and I were looking at this right now, I would assume I was short 5 and would need to close it. It's not the case. I'm only looking at that one order. If I were to select them all, I would see my true position, which is flat in that 210 account. So orders and fills widget is great. It can create a whole lot of shortcuts. It can also create some confusion. So I would advise becoming more familiar with the individual orders widget, fills widget, positions widget before moving on to this combo one. Having said that, and this is a good key for Trader Analytics as well, in the top right corner of every widget, we have this little question mark. And if you hover over it, says help. Clicking on that will take you directly to our help article on the widget you're looking at. So here's our help article on orders and fills. Overview, and then we've got a whole bunch of, here's how you can see your orders, here are some tasks. This is the case for every widget in the platform. So something like order book, if I want to see details on order book, I can go into that help article. Tons of information in there, probably more than you'll ever need, but I highly recommend using that tool. That's going to wrap up the presentation for today. I'm going to turn it back over to Mike to see us off.
Thank you very much, Bernie. That was fantastic. Thanks everybody for joining us. As I said earlier, this session has been recorded and will be up on YouTube in a couple of days, where you can find all the other archive videos of this series. So thanks everybody for joining us. Thank you, Bernie. We'll see you again at another one of these events, and good luck in your trading, everyone. Have a great evening.